Welcome back to SCARECROW'S Billiards. This is Essentials 2. We'll go over the following 7 points, which I consider to be a little bit beyond the beginner level. So the first one will be shooting with the right hand as well as the left hand. The one rail kick shot, two rail kick shots, which includes hitting the end rail first, and then the other one is hitting the side rail first. Knowing if your table is actually a 2 or a 3 diamond table, we'll go into that, as well as the mirror technique. We'll go into cross banking, the double kiss, how to overcome it, and how to know when it's coming up, as well as finding your rhythm, what type of tempo. Are you a fast player? Are you a slow player? And also what it means when you hear somebody saying they're negotiating weight, they're giving weight. We'll go over that in a little bit. Thanks for hanging out, and let's get to it.
Point 1. Being ambidextrous. Learning how to play with your right hand as well as your left hand. Practicing with both sides is easier said than done, and now's not a bad time to start. If you're just starting out, that's the perfect time. Gaining proficiency with both sides of the body not only negates the need for using the bridge, but can reduce the amount of times you have to fight against your hip so that you can get good alignment on the shot. Another good time to practice this is when you're playing a clearly inferior opponent. Sometimes we have a tendency to bring our game down to their level to make a better match out of it. Don't do this. Practice with your other side instead. This can make it more exciting on both sides of the ball. Point 2. One rail kick shots. Here you see an overhead of the pool table. In this case, we're not concerned with numbers and diamonds so much as we are concerned about angles and straight lines. Step 1. Find the midpoint on the line between the object ball and the cue ball. Step 2. Find the point where the object ball would be even with the rail, the one that you're going to kick the cue ball into. Step 3. Make a straight line from the midpoint to that point on the side rail. This angle is now bisected. Step 4. Holding that line steady, slide it until it is over the cue ball. Then finally, step 5. Follow the path of the line. Shoot the shot with a little bit of running English. Point 3. Two rail kick shots. First, we'll look at the end rail first two rail kick shot. This is where you hit the end rail and then hit the side rail. Here you'll see an overhead of the pool table. The diamonds are numbered accordingly, and if you can do simple math, you can figure it out. For this shot, we have to find where the object ball is. Once we have that, we keep the same angle and count up to the cue ball. We see the balls are about 3 diamonds away from each other. Now we simply aim for the 3 on the end rail, and with a bit of running English, we'll find we can clip the object ball. Now we'll move on to a side first 2 rail shot. For this shot, we'll be shooting into the side rail first. The ball will bounce off into the end rail. Again, some basic math is required. First, we estimate the shooting angle and determine our cue ball location. In this case, the cue ball is located at 6. Next, we determine what line the object ball is on. For this shot, it looks to be on line 4. Now, the simple math. 6 minus 4 equals 2. So if we shoot into that second diamond with a little bit of running English, this should come off the end rail and whack the object ball. Point 4. Knowing if your table is a 2 or a 3 diamond table. One of the first things you should do when you get to an unfamiliar pool table is find what is known as the slot. Does 5 minus 3 equal 2? Or does 5 minus 2 equal 3? Which equation gets you to the corner pocket? To determine this, place the cue ball 45 degrees off of the corner pocket. Find a line that bisects the corner pocket and goes to the opposite rail into the third diamond. It's important to shoot at the diamond and not at the spot where the diamond will be touching the rail. Then hit it with a tad bit of running English so it hits 3 rails and see if it lands in the opposite corner. If it does, then your table is a third diamond table. If it doesn't, try finding the line between the corner pocket and the second diamond. Shoot it the same way, and if the ball falls in the corner, then you have a second diamond table. If neither work, Then line your cue ball up between the corner pocket and an imaginary diamond between the second and third diamond. Shoot the shot in a similar fashion, and if it falls, then you have a 2.5 diamond table. Once you find out what your table is, what your slot is, then you can employ what is known as the mirror technique and the spot on the wall. So for this technique to work, you have to imagine cutting the table in two. Start your line to the third cushion from exactly the opposite spot of the object ball. If the cue ball isn't located exactly in mirror image to the object ball, then you have to manufacture an angle. To do this, first find where that line would be. Then in the background find an object, or a spot on the wall. Then go over to your cue ball and shoot at that spot on the wall. Alternatively, you can also carry that line over like we did when we bisected the one rail kick shot. Point 5. Cross banking and the kiss. What is a cross bank? Well, it's when the cue ball is going to pass through the path of the object ball when it's on its way to the pocket. This shot is employed most often in the game One Pocket, but is very useful in other situations as well. First, avoiding the kiss. When looking down the cue ball at the corner pocket, if the object ball is in the way, partially obscuring the whole pocket, then you're looking at a potential double kiss shot. If this is the case, you have to significantly manipulate the speed and/or the English of the cue ball to avoid that second kiss. Otherwise, you run a high risk of getting that double kiss and missing the shot. The other thing to consider when shooting these shots is the path of the cue ball after impact. If you want to keep the cue ball on that object ball side of the table, use inside English. If you need to move the cue ball to a different path, use outside English. Though if you do, you may cause an inadvertent double kiss. Point 6. Finding your rhythm. Some people find they play better when they play with a quicker tempo, like Earl the Pearl Strickland. And other players, like Jose Perica, play very deliberate, calculated pool. And you even have some players, like Mike Siegel, who even have a wag. Hey, Mike whipped my butt before. I've earned the right to say that. I'll caveat that with he's an awesome gentleman. Whichever style you have, try to stick to it and stay in rhythm. And our final point, point 7, what it means to give weight to someone. So if someone says, hey, I'll give you the 8, that means if you make the 8 or the 9, you win. That's the least amount of weight somebody can give you in 9-ball. If someone says, I'll give you the 7 out, that means if you make the 7, the 8, or the 9, then you win. That's pretty heavy weight. If someone says, I'll give you the 7, that means you win if you make the 7 or the 9, but that does not include if you make the 8. In One Pocket, weight is given as a function of balls needed to win. The standard game winning number is 8 balls in your hole, but oftentimes weight is given. Most of the time, the total number will equal to 16. For example, you may get a spot or weight of 11-5. This means one player needs to make 11 balls, and the other player only needs to make 5. There's also a spot of 12-4. This means one player needs to make 12 balls, and the other player only needs to make 4. This is a lot of weight. And also how I started out when I played the Giants of One Pocket. In any case, be reasonable, but also be careful in how you negotiate weight when you're matching up.
Well, world, we reached the end of Essentials 2. We covered a lot of material, like the importance of being ambidextrous, a couple of kicking and banking systems, as well as how to negotiate weight. So don't feel bad if you don't retain it the first go-around. This video is going nowhere, so refer back to it whenever you need to. As for the third part in this series, Essentials Part 3, it's in the planning phase right now, so I hope you stick around with me until that's released. It's sure to be pretty interesting. Thanks again for watching and supporting the channel with a like and subscribe, and God bless.